Hello. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Evening, everyone. Zafar, how you doing, man? I'm hoping Dom will be here shortly. He hasn't said he was going to be late yet, but... And hello, my lovely wife, Vicky. He's joined us there. Thank you for popping along. Who else have we got lurking? Come on. Oh, look, here he is. I think he was avoiding me.
Avoid you.
Why'd you do this? Why are you like this?
That's how I roll.
Why can't you just arrive on time?
Oh, mate.
I know, mate.
If only that was so easy.
I've been streaming for 3 hours. I don't understand what you've been doing.
My goodness.
We said we start at
Very
5.
good
How are you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. I am very well. Yes, I'm good. The joys of
Parenthood?
Yes, exactly. Good evening, everybody.
There's a couple of people knocking about.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I just managed to put some work to bed before I came on here as well. Don't worry, I was almost not going to stream tonight.
Well, I'm glad you did, Tom.
I'm
sure everyone else is as well.
We'll see. Azafel says he's glad he's finally catching a live stream. Live.
Woohoo! Good to see you, Azafel. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So, Tom, I don't know what you've covered so far because I was running through.
Oh, I literally just started. Don't you worry. I just literally was saying hello to our lovely viewers and said, "I'm sure Dom will be here shortly." That was it, and then you turned up.
Tom! What hobby are you working on tonight?
Not an awful lot is the true answer because I didn't have time to prepare anything in the end. But I've been doing some research-ish for stuff we were going to talk about, if that counts.
That's going to count, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it counts anyway.
Well, we're going to go with a yes.
But a yes, that does count towards something.
It does now anyway.
Nice.
Nice. So I've got a couple of bits I was looking at, but now other than that, yeah, on-call weeks are always dangerous to do anything that requires me to set things up because, as you know, I always get disturbed. So, but hopefully you can get through this stream without any other interruptions. How about yourself, though?
What hobby am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, the other day, I don't know if I know you get this, Tom, and I know other people probably do. I get quite disheartened. So I go to a few events, and obviously I come around to yours for games, and
do you
get the joys of apparently the joys of packing your army up and taking it somewhere, and always I had so many broken models, like it's unbelievable. I've got like a desk full of like warp talons where the fins have come off or the arms have popped off. And then I've got sorcerers where little bits have popped off. And it's just so disheartening. It's unbelievable. Because it's constantly like blue.
I mean, blue? You know me well enough to know that I can do that without even packing my models away. So
yeah, I know exactly. That's why I was like, I know you know.
And I have to smile and just go, oh, look at me, old clumsy Tom at it again.
Why does it always happen to me?
Because I've got fat fingers and I get overly excited and move too quickly.
It's just so demoralising. Because I had this event I went to at the weekend, and I just finished like the night before painting up 2 models. I'm really proud how it turned out. Like relatively rushed one of them, and then I get it there. And Tom, It was on the last game of the day, so I'd already broken 2 models at this point. Like I'd thrown one under the table, literally just like woof, glided under, an arm went missing, and the other player found it, and then earlier one snapped off. But this model was just standing in the middle of the battlefield, and I went, "Oh, movement phase," and I just touched one part of him, and his hand on the other side just fell off, and I was like,
"That's how it rolls
I
sometimes."
didn't even do anything.
Well, it's like when
I didn't even hit the arm that fell off.
Well, it's like when you're trying to show off your nicely painted models to your friends, and you pass one during a garden game, and you lose the head of an axe in grass. You know?
Yeah, it's just so frustrating, mate.
And hello, Felpire. Hope you enjoyed your last little Dark Tide game. Be looking forward to playing some more of that.
Hello, Felpire.
And Dom's audio should be alright now. I had the actually, Dave, I had lowered some of the audio settings when we were playing our game because it was a bit louder for some reason. So I've just pushed it back up to the usual level, so hopefully everyone can hear Dom a bit better now. And Mr. Serus, welcome.
Oh, greetings and salutations. Oh, yeah. So the tournament, right?
Yeah.
I know you know that.
I do know.
I got best painted army.
It's well deserved. Your army, that army is developed very well for you. So I think.
Yeah. So I'm rather chuffed with that. That's staying by my paint station.
Where did you come in the tournament?
It doesn't matter, Tom. It doesn't matter where
I saw your results. I saw the best case pairings.
Doesn't matter where I came. It was all good. But that's what you do when you go against competitive lists. I'm just like, and the thing is, comments and jokes aside, when I was going up there, I already knew the weaknesses of my list. I was taking it up there and I was like, oh, God, right, well, this is a problem I'm going to have to start with. And surprise, surprise, it happened. But I've learned from it. I'm going to change a few bits and move it around a bit. I'm still very adamant. I don't want to keep going down the same route as every Chaos player because it's just so demoralizing. So if I play Chaos, I need to have a Baden. I need to have 10 Terminators. I need to have the Dark.
I thought that was your list.
So I'm using, like, I lose out of 2,000 points, 1,500 points everyone else has, and just put 500 points of flair in, which is probably going to be what isn't optimal.
One possessed Chaos Marine.
Get Dark Communion to stand out. Yeah, I might do. Might get 2. Might get 3. Just to really screw people's heads.
You know how it works, games. You need 3 of everything. Yeah. So, I mean.
So, yeah, I'm still trying to work on things. So I took a block of 10 Warp Talons as kind of a substitute for Terminators or Possessed. And they did okay. They held out a storm from Iron Hands. Just constant firing coming in.
What do you mean? They don't have any guns.
They had a lot of guns. And they had 10 Assault Terminators just slowly walking towards me. I was like, oh, God. This could be painful. But no, it was a good fun list.
Good.
Just got, some bad matchups. I just got them. Some colors, some Black deal. Nice. Yeah, I mean that is a cool looking squad, and I completely I think it was you, Sarah, when I was chatting and realised one of the cultists was actually female. Because I couldn't tell from the initial photos. And then you put it side profile. I'm like, oh, it's a girl.
Well, obviously my last game was against Mr. Dave Holland last week, and his Space Wolf list.
Actual Space Wolves.
Yeah, that was rather painful. Raptors are awful, by the way. Just thought I'd mention that. I want to like them, but they're awful. I want them to be good.
There's no point liking them.
Every time I play them, I'm like, why do I use you? And they look at me going, well, we look good.
It could work. Maybe one day.
Maybe you should put some guns in our squads, but I don't want to.
I even took 2 obliterators in the tournament. I don't even know why I bothered. I think I killed 1 orc truck. I mean, they're absolutely rubbish. I'm like, oh, let me just take some obliterators. They might work this one time. No, actually, what did they? They did kill some things in combat. So, they haven't got...
Well,
Oh, they're
it's
just
chaos, isn't
shocking.
it? You have to. Well, actually, it's fair. It's not just chaos. I think it's any list that you take to a proper tournament that you know which has got lots of players. You need to play whatever the flavour of the month is if you want to do the
Yeah,
top, because there is always one synergy that works the best, and unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, the other players are going to be playing those synergies. So
yeah.
that's just the
Oh yeah,
way. That's
yeah.
just the way it rolls.
The
So
way the cookie crumbles.
unlike our events, where no one plays anything optimal,
No,
we were talking about this today about our events, actually, weren't we? Because we're trying to,
discourage them. We
yeah,
discourage those
we're
lists.
trying to get another date in the calendar so we can invite maybe some of you people to come down. But we're having some venue issues as usual. Well, we have a venue we can use, don't we, Dom? We just we were trying to find something a little bit
Yeah, a bit
bigger,
different.
a little bit subtle. So that's one thing that I've been sending countless emails off and trying to contact people. But it turns out that a lot of people that own these venues tend to be the older generation. I don't really understand what we're trying to do. You know, I've been trying. Well, while doing that, I've been trying to adjust the way I float the idea and sort of saying, yeah, we do sort of tabletop stuff. Don't mention wargaming or
Yeah,
anything like that. It's
never
tabletop,
mention war game, board
tabletop
game.
painting. Painting's really good.
Yeah, board games.
Well, yeah, we just do board games.
I mean, the other venue is really nice. The only downside of that
Mm,
venue, this is the main downside, is that the toilets for the venue, like this is a big hall, like split into two big halls.
yeah.
The one that we rent out, the toilets are in the hall that we're renting out. So everybody in the bar
Yeah.
across that isn't part of our group has to walk through our venue to go to the toilet. And it's not, they're normally, we haven't had any problems. It's just a bit
No.
frustrating.
Yeah, because you're trying to run the event, you don't, and people, and also inevitably when people come in and look at what you're doing, there's normally about two reactions. There's one, people that are kind of genuinely go, "Oh, what's going on here? This looks quite interesting." The other one's like, what are you bunch of people doing? This looks quite. Are you men, grown men, playing, and women? Sorry, pardon me. I wouldn't want to label that, but you know, we're like, yes, we're playing with models. Yes, it costs a lot of money. You know, um, the usual things you get sometimes. But yeah, on the whole, I'd say most people are actually been quite just more interested, I suppose, nowadays.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
you get the odd people walking in from the public as well, sort of go, "What's this? This looks interesting." And,
Oh, very interesting.
but yeah, we'll hopefully. I think it's going to be next year, obviously, at this rate. Uh,
Yeah.
because there's no way in hell we're going to fit one in between now and Christmas.
Beautiful,
Although I'll tell you what,
beautiful.
we are fitting in before Christmas. Me and Dom, in fact, actually, it's next weekend, actually, isn't it?
It's
It is, Jesus.
zooming up.
We have a second Apocalypse game. Well, this is going to be just between myself and Dom of the old enemies clashing swords again. So
The
Word
old
Bearers
foe.
and Black Templars. I don't even have my guard now, so it will be pure Blicktimper with
Oh
some
dear.
Imperial Knights as well mixed in to bulk out the super heavy part of it. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty
Yep.
bland. Um, and
Super heavy contingent.
we'll probably be filming a little bit more of it than we did in our other game because, well, when it's just us two, we've got a bit more leeway on how we film it, and I suppose more time to adjust for that.
Yeah.
And we'll probably start. I don't know. We'll have to discuss when we're going to start it actually as well.
Yeah. Either way, it's going
Yeah.
to be the old classic matchup
Yeah.
that we try and do every year. Obviously, we've had a couple of years of, COVID. So we're back on it, and we're going to be doing Word Bearers
Mm.
and Co versus Black Templars and Buddies. So it's going to be awesome.
Maybe I should get the Red Scorpions in there. I mean,
Maybe I don't care. Bring who you want to die.
and it's 15,000 points aside.
Yep.
So we're looking for some good. We've got a couple of. We're definitely gonna have the Titans in there, I hope, aren't we?
Yeah.
Get your second game with them in. Get them while you can, Dom, because you know.
Every excuse now. Come on, Titan. We can do it.
I think there's no first round amnesties this time.
No, it's all out.
It's just.
Pew, pew, pew!
And you, as soon as that went, it was like, oh, you're targeting that, are you? I see. I see.
Yeah.
Just want to kill it in the first round and just see, because that's what happened to my Spartan. It's very sad about my Spartan.
Yeah, it was a bit sad, wasn't it? Glad I killed it. Had lots of Marines in it.
But I got your little what should we call it? I can't remember his name now. You had a name for one of your cultists, and I killed him.
Dagger.
That's it, Shagger. That was it. Yeah, so I got Shagger, so I think that's a fair trade. Spartan for Shagger.
Yeah, yeah, Spartan for Shagger. Um, guys, do you want to see the Vulture leading the 83rd?
But you can't.
You can. It's got legend rules now.
Oh, I see. We're playing Legends now. I see. Right. Oh, imagine if I was like that. That'd be horrible.
You are like that.
What?
Hide it better. We don't hide it that well.
I see. All right.
Yes. So should the Vulture return?
I mean, he hasn't killed himself with the plasma pistol for a while, so I suppose we need to get that on camera again.
He hasn't killed himself with a plasma pistol for a while. That is very true, Thomas.
Because he does do it
Maybe
every
he
game.
needs to do that.
Because you just can't resist that overcharge, can you?
I love an overcharge. It's like one of the best things. Should I gamble? Should I not gamble?
Of course we'll gamble. It's
Yeah! Oh,
it's 40k.
Double one.
Rapid fire and gamble.
Why does this always happen to me?
What's this here? Evening all, Triarch Stalkers and the start of the Silent King on the paint desk. Ooh, very nice.
That Orkster?
That is Orkster, yes.
See, I knew. Without even looking, I was like, yeah, it sounds like an Orkster thing to say. Nice.
And yeah, so well, we've got that coming up, and we'll try and, I suppose we'll try and have it out the following week if I can do the edit quick enough. Should be all right. I don't think it'll be too difficult to do. And that way we'll have like a pre-Christmas little APOC game up for the channel, and maybe we'll get some other ones slotted in somewhere. So, yeah.
Well, the Guard Codex is out now. I'll be.
Oh, you want to have a guard game, do you?
Yeah.
Is that actually out? Is that actually out last week?
No,
no, it's not out. It's in the box set, isn't it?
Not out. Not out. Yeah,
it's in the box set, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not getting the box set one.
No.
That's just. I'll wait for the actual codex.
You've got enough guard to sort of tide you over.
Yeah, and the thing is with guard as well, it's that thing where I can kind of go, oh well, which way do I want to lean my army? Do I want to kind of go infantry heavy or tanks? It's going to be tanks, or super heavies, or Minotaur Tempestus. I can mix it up a little bit.
With that Dawn tank, I mean, even that was getting me going, ooh, I could do a tank army. I could just get rid of this entire army, but I could do a tank army. It's easy.
Yeah.
I do like the look of the Dawn tank, actually. I think that's a very nice mid-range. It's nice to have like a middle-sized tank, because they didn't really have many in the, I suppose, the plastic range.
No, what I quite like is it's not kind of replaced the Lehman Russ. It's just made a slightly more expensive variant you can have if you want to. I think the Lehman Russ is still very
of course,
viable.
Russ will always be. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rules. I don't think I'll be starting. I think actually, if I was to do any form of guard, I'd actually go complete opposite and do infantry, because I've been listening to Gaunt's Ghost recently. So it kind of tickles that kind of, oh, I quite fancy a stealthy guard force with lots of snipers and stuff, but I know that wouldn't work.
You never know, Tom.
It gets
slaughtered. It's definitely an expensive venture to go for an infantry guard army.
I'll wait to see if they bring any other guard regiment variants out. I think that's where I'm going to go, because as much as I like the new Cadia models, it's not really what I think. If there was a proper Krieg plastic release, I think I'd be sorely tempted not to do it. I think. Because it's something that I've always really liked the look of, but I didn't really fancy dipping into Forge World on that scale, because that's a big investment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a lot of money to kind of delving in.
But you've been buying things. You bought some Kill Team stuff, didn't you?
I have. I brought loads of stuff, Tom. Hang on. Where is it? Oh,
I've been trying to be good. It's been.
There you go. Look at that. Whee.
So you've got some Krieg then.
I've got some Krieg. Yeah, I've got some Krieg and Orkies and lots of terrain. Give me a couple of trial games to see how that goes. Oh,
yes.
And then I've got some other bits as well, which will be appearing on the 83rd at some point. So yeah, no, looking forward to it. See what Kill Team's all about. I've only heard positive things, which is good.
I definitely want to give it a go. Obviously, I know you were doing a little test run this Friday, which sadly I can't make because I've made other arrangements beforehand. but hopefully I'm sure there'll be time to slot a game or two in here eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
God knows what I'm going to
That's
play from.
anything, Tom.
Oh, I
And
know.
that's what I quite like about Kill Team as well. That you can kind of you don't have to invest in these massive armies
No.
in principle at the moment. That you can kind of go, look, I've got 1,000 points of such and such. I'll make a little Kill Team out of it, or I just want to try a theme. Like
Mm.
you might want to do Raven Guard and go, actually, I quite like the idea of that. It's make a stealthy force.
Well, I mean, the other thing is it's also quite nice to concentrate on a small selection of models to a certain standard as well, because obviously most of them come with certain upgrades and kit, which you can represent a bit better on a single model.
Yep.
So that's one thing I quite liked about it. That's because I think that's what got me into Grey Knights initially because we went to that Kill Team
I think we
tournament.
did a Kill Team.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
and we basically well, I made an army from scratch, which was I made a kill team from scratch, which was my Grey Knights, and I did all of them very specifically with all their. I tried to represent what we'd given them on the stat sheet on the model, which was nice. So yeah, I must admit I've obviously been looking a little bit. If you think those car skins look very nice.
yeah, yeah, they're very nice models, aren't they?
And obviously you've got some additional Necron there, but they all look fairly run-of-the-mill Necron models, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there's like 2 that are a bit different, but generally it's pretty standard
Yeah,
stuff, which is a
but
shame. I think it's definitely a missed opportunity that they've kind of just gone, these 2 there.
it was
But no one
definitely
else.
more to showcase a guard release than
Yeah.
than that. I mean, and obviously you get some terrain with that, don't you, as well? So,
With that, yeah, you get loads of
yes, yeah,
orky terrain,
because
which is quite cool.
the one set I fancy was the outpost one they did recently as well.
Yeah,
The
with the
Marines and Necrons.
traitor.
Is it Marines and Necrons, or was it Marines and
No,
Traitors?
Marines and Traitor
Traitor
Guard.
Guard.
Yeah, the outpost one.
But yeah, I'm definitely up for trying Kill Team. I always have been. I think I bought one of the box sets the first time round, and we never really.
I think we had one game in the old edition.
Yeah.
I think we'll give this one a go, and I'm being optimistic. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Good. Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point?
What is the point, Tom?
Yes.
I mean, except for having some deathcore in my guard army. That's
Oh, you saw a little regiment, didn't you? That's it. Sort of.
Yeah, that's it.
Where'd these guys come from?
A little regiment of maybe 100 guardsmen. Add them in. Some light infantry.
Oh dear. Maybe we should do that on our board on that the 30th when you're over, Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. I'm sure everyone will understand if we just set up a Kill Team board and play Kill Team.
I teach the kids how to play Kill Team. It'll be fine.
Oh dear.
Good.
But yeah, but I had a look at the Kill Team stuff. It looks pretty good. And like I said, most of it's focused on that. I think because that box set came out on the 18th of October, I think it was. So it was last month sometime. But it was nice to kind of.
What the?
Yeah, that was the Carskin one, the Shadow Vaults.
Carskin one. Yeah.
And actually, the reason that one looks cool because it's obviously got that kind of Zone Mortalis look at it. Because it's got the low level. I've always quite fancied building a board like that. Just for the look of it, and also the different game mechanics you can have in a kind of I suppose a confined walkway scenario, a bit like Space Hulk.
Yeah, I really like the look of it. Obviously, Tom, that does kind of lead on to other changes in Warhammer 40,000 and things coming out, which I know you're relatively interested in.
Yes.
Yes, I am. Because that does look pretty incredible, actually. Be interested to see how it kind of how it pans out.
There's quite. I mean, it's one of these things that they release a lot of stuff, obviously, and you have to sort of. I suppose you have to take things with a pinch of salt sometimes because you don't know how it fits in with it. But yeah, it looks like a slightly more, I suppose, close quarters style combat, isn't it? So it reminds me of the the planetary assault stuff. Yeah, it's focusing on a particular element of what could happen in a full pitch battle.
Yes.
Um, and boarding actions look pretty cool. So why not? You got
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like we've always kind of, well, you haven't always, but we've definitely commented on the past about how Warhammer 40,000 9th edition is definitely kind of based more for the competitive tournament scene, and now they're kind of releasing these other little bits, which is kind of one of those last hurrahs to 9th edition when they start, or any edition when
yeah,
they start releasing this stuff, because it's like, well, 10th edition's around the corner now. They're just releasing these books to kind of bring money in, really, isn't it? But we should embrace it for what it is and kind of go, actually, this is quite cool because even if this rendition of Mortalis only lasts 6 months,
hmm.
6 months to a year, you know that at some point it will come back in another form. But you'll also then already have the stuff to play it.
Yes. It's one of these things. I like that, but I would definitely hope they wouldn't scrap all of those rules for 10th, because this is, I think, one of the more, I suppose, annoying things about getting into something that's quite fun. When they go, oh yeah, you can use all this, and then suddenly a rule set comes out and it completely wipes out that functionality. I'm hoping they've learnt and not to do that this time, so that it'll still carry over. If I'm taking honest, with 10th, obviously at some point, I'm going to assume towards the end of next year, as a guess. I would hope that this is an edition where they go, let's not rock the boat too much, and let's fix what we've got here and take all the good stuff and amp that up. I think that's how I would envision them. Well, how I would want them to do it. But you know, we
Yeah.
just don't know.
We don't know.
No.
What people's prediction for 10th edition? When do you think it will be out? And what major changes do you think we're going to see in 10th edition,
Hmm.
people? But yeah, I really hope that they just sort some of the problems out, really. And kind of it's hard because what major problems are there? What problems do you see, Tom, as you play?
I
How much?
think there's still an element of cookie cutter when you're playing
Yeah.
certain games, and yes, the prime kickback to people that play, and sorry, the people that say, oh, I I don't want to play this type of, I don't want, is, oh, just play narrative. And I'm like, well, all right, but I kind of like the point system for divvying up armies still, you know?
Oh, you're talking about power level and
Yeah. Yes, yeah, exactly. So, that's always been the thing. I'll play that way, and obviously play the way you want to play it, all that kind of stuff, which is fine. Yeah, and on the whole, I say that's what we tend to do. Even when we're playing points-based games, we try and make it interesting to us from that sense. But power creep is still an incredible problem, in my opinion. I know that obviously they've released all of these charts showing that they're trying to get this win rate to 50% for every army or whatever it is, and they show this sliding scale. But again, it does seem to center around when something gets released, it tends to trample over most things. And I think the Votan release recently was a big highlight of that. You look at what they did before the Codex even came out.
yeah, yeah. I don't think we're ever walking away from that, really.
No,
To be honest.
that was it was. I mean, obviously they do it to sell stuff, but again, the Marine. I mean, obviously with the new release of whatever, there's going to be a new Space Marine Codex again, you know, because there always bloody well is, because it's the one they always release at the beginning, because they love to do it. Um, and I just feel that I definitely feel for other people that feel maybe just only got their Codex a few months ago or whatever like that, and something comes out and you're like, oh, I've only just got all this, and now we're starting again, you know.
Yeah, I mean that is the way, though, isn't it? It's kind of like from a guard point of view, you kind of wait and wait and
Yeah.
wait. Finally comes out, and then people are like, all right, right, we're done with this. Let's move on to 10th for everyone. But hopefully, the 9th edition Guard Codex will transition nicely
Yeah.
into a good portion of 10th edition before it becomes redundant.
Well, it's
Um,
like World Eaters as well, isn't it? Next year, they're February-ish next year, aren't they? So
mm,
that's good. That will probably be the last release, I think, won't it?
yeah, or the first
Or
release.
the first release of 10th. Yeah, I suppose that's also equally true. But no, I don't think so. I think I think World Eaters will be the last release of Ninth, and then we'll see what they
Yeah.
do. I do hope they go towards a model, a slightly digitalish model where you can get updates to your books straight away, and they can make these alterations without having to release count as FAQs. I mean, I love having the books and stuff, but I think you and me will probably agree that normally the books are used to look up niche rules nowadays rather than. I mean, when was the last time you had the rule book out for something really?
Oh, I don't know.
No,
Yeah, it's
it's
a while. But that's the way it is, though. Unfortunately, that's
no,
what
it's
they're
not
going to be doing.
unfortunate. I still, we still play it.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to stop playing it, but at the same time, it's just nice to, I think, not have to go through this upheaval every few years because the rule set's been changed dramatically. I must admit I think the last two were quite, I suppose, big changes. Eighth was the
Yeah, I
biggest, obviously, but
suppose one of the good things about 10th is that suddenly everyone's back on kind of a level playing field when it comes to the rules, because you won't have balanced data sheets and FAQs and all this stuff. You kind of tucked in there. You can all go, all right, this is the rules.
yeah,
These are the rules. That's what we're doing
yeah.
for now until a couple of months later, and we'll have something else. But this is it. Start from scratch, everyone. Not if you've not played for 6 months. There's all these other bits as well that you've got to kind of remember.
Yeah, because obviously with the introduction of the living mission set, basically, where they're rotating that round to a war zone every 6 months or whatever, or 3 months, whatever. That was quite a big change for them, in my opinion, as well. So, and yeah, ultimately there's another part of the narrative part, isn't it? You could play those narrative campaign crusade books and stuff, but I feel to play crusade, you have to. It's not just about playing a game with crusade. There's a lot of admin to play a proper crusade. I mean, you probably know that more than
Yeah,
most of us because
yeah. There's a lot of stuff to
you've
do
tried
with
to
it.
run a thing, and it's not been the easiest thing to sort of push forward with, especially when not every army had a crusade rule set as well. So it almost feels like a different game system completely. I think that's where I'd look at it.
Yeah, to a degree. I think it depends what you really want out of a game. Like, do you like everyone wants to win? Great stuff, but I think sometimes you really want to, like, for me, although I enjoy kind of the tournament thing, going off occasionally and doing it, it's all great. I also enjoy telling a story with my games. Like, so when Apocalypse, for instance, is a great platform that you can tell these massive stories, and you've got all these characters and these
Yeah.
small little battles going on, and you can kind of bring that to life a bit more than you could necessarily in a 2,000 point game on a regular battle mat, and you've got your standard objectives and stuff. It's quite hard to kind of bring that to life. You might have cool moments that happen in the game. You might have that one character that somehow survives in the middle, just doing bits. But I think generally the massive games are where you can tell a decent story.
Yeah.
Or you could start a story from scratch and kind of go, look, we're going to lay the board out like this. It's not going to be mirrored on either side. It's going to have a bias towards one player or the other. And then we're going to have, you've got the classic last stand, or you've got like a pass, and like the gate's fallen. You've got to hold the gate and prevent people coming
We've
through.
done this quite a few times.
You do all sorts of things going on.
But
and I think that's what I enjoy.
So maybe our next, because I thought about this the other day. We actually haven't done a non-live stream battle report, as in like a standard one, for quite some time.
Yeah.
We haven't just sat and played through a game, so maybe we should do that soon. I think.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
We should and get a couple
out.
recorded again, because it feels like we haven't done a sit down and go through a game slowly and methodically and make it look good kind of thing. We'll have to do something. We'll tip the balance. We'll do what we said there. We'll make up a little scenario. Because I remember one of my favourite ones was when I grabbed all the crates I owned in terrain and made a big pile, and it was my War Boss's big pile of ammo. And we played that game around that.
Big pile of data. Yeah, I think after the Apocalypse game, we can definitely sort that out.
Oh, that's right. I know.
Apocalypse hopefully will have enough narrative to keep us busy for a while. Hopefully.
No, it's not enough. I need to get another one booked in for the following month.
Okay.
Apocalypse a month.
Yeah, Apocalypse
and
of
a different army every month each.
We'll have to we have to bring some more players in, I think, Tom.
We'll have to do another orc one.
Yes.
You scour the southeast for orc players.
Nah, not many orc players, is there? They're not a popular faction. I don't think many people like playing orcs.
So you're basically saying I've got to increase my collection tenfold.
At least tenfold.
Oh god. We'll see. I've still got some stuff to paint.
I'll be on the Imperium this side.
Yeah. Weird that. Have you got enough points for that?
I got my guard. I got my battle sisters.
Yeah.
I got some Necromunda enforcers.
Oh god, yeah. You can take my squad of them as well. You can have a little.
Yeah, there you go, little police force.
A little Arbites force running around.
Yeah,
Oi,
exactly.
oi,
Holding our precinct.
Hey, you! The green boy over there. Come here.
Yeah. Taser!
I'm not doing nothing, boss.
Yeah. Jeez.
Put those coils down. Come back with my aircon.
Yeah. So what hobby are people working on tonight?
It's been very quiet in chat today, actually.
Right?
Yeah. What's going on, everyone? So the other things that were, I think, alluded to was obviously we've got the Arcs of Omen.
The Arcs of Omen.
Where they've got this beginning narrative, which it strikes me as very much like the linking books between obviously 8th and 9th.
Or 9th and 10th, this is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, they're really pushing the Imperial Chaos struggle, which is nice. Because I had a brief re-look through this. So you kind of got Abaddon is the focus of the first book, then Angron.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you've got Vashator, which is this new thing, but they've also got a fourth part, which they haven't revealed yet. So, and obviously this has got the boarding actions in it as well.
Yeah.
The first book anyway. So which is quite cool because I think that's good. That'll be an interesting. Maybe we should try and play through some of these scenarios as a channel thing. I think the one thing I always know about channels, obviously, when they do these, they always set it for a certain army.
Yeah.
And I always find we never have those armies.
Oh, I know, it's frustrating, isn't it?
It's like when they did we looked through the I think the Primarch one for Gilliman, that one it had some cool stuff. It was all like Ultramarines and
Black Legion.
You're like, oh come on, make a few scenarios that work for a kind of like any anything. But yeah, obviously this is the narrative that's being pushed down that way, and obviously the way it's been scheduled to release, you're going to see that the World Eater one probably roughly when the World Eater book comes out, I'm going to presume. So
I would have thought so, yeah.
But I like the idea of these boarding actions going full scale army boarding actions. I mean that's quite cool. I think that there's some interesting gains to be had there. I think I was just having a look for the index. They had the contents page up on their reveal site. There's boarding actions, battlefields, rules, actions, stratagems, enhancements, patrol ones, and some actual missions. It looks like they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 10 missions as well.
It isn't it?
Last one is called Rad League.
Ooh.
So I think we'll have to give that a go. I mean, ultimately, the cover picture shows Black Legion Ultramarines again. So I think we all know what's going to happen there.
Typical, isn't it?
But then there is the Angron, so I'm hoping there'll be some World Eaters in there, which will, you've got World Eaters. Vicky's got World Eaters.
Everyone's got World Eaters, and everyone will have World Eaters when the release comes out.
Well, looking at some of those models, I'd be quite surprised if people didn't flock to that haven't previously played it. I mean, I really like the look of the 8-bound. Not too sure about their conception, but we'll see. I mean, it sounds a little bit insane. 8 demon souls of Khorne inside one body seems a little bit too much anger for anyone to contain.
No, it's the right amount.
The right amount.
8 is definitely the right
Oh,
amount
it's
that
the
you
right
need in
number,
any.
but it seems a little bit mad. Just before I carry on with that, Gavin is working on a GSC truck, and Vicky is painting Chaplin.
Very
Good.
nice. Very nice.
Um, and yeah, so World Eaters, and I like the new Juggernaut one though. That looked quite cool. The Lord and the Juggernaut.
Yeah, apparently the rumor is as well that they, according to the latest rumor, it's going down the routes of Corn Demonkin. So there's going to be a bit of a mix between Corn Demons and World Eaters, which I think could be quite cool.
Quite that. It's kind of like that
Um,
crossover, isn't it? I suppose because
yeah,
especially the way they've structured the Demons Codex, where you can bring corn
Agents of
demons in,
Chaos,
no problems
etc.
at all. Yeah, exactly. So it kind of makes a lot of sense. It kind of bridges that gap that obviously most Space Marines could bring pretty much any Imperial faction along with them without any penalty. With the Agents of the Imperium rule, you
Yep.
get the same, which I think is fair, and was needed. Otherwise, you kind of get that. I mean, it's very nice to collect a solid army, but it's quite nice to dabble in kind of fringe armies for that setup, I suppose. So,
It's just nice as well if you've already got a collection of demons or
hmm,
knights and you've got Chaos Space Marines. It's nice to have that option where you don't feel you're restricted to kind of go, well, actually, I'm just going to take my World Eaters, for instance. I've only got like 3 squads of Berserkers, a
hmm.
couple of HQs, and I don't know, a Defiler. That you can go, actually, I've got some Bloodletters. I could bring them in somehow, and I've got a Chaos Knight sitting about. Perhaps I can think about that,
Do
or
all of them.
even Cypher. Bring Cypher in. He's an agent of chaos.
Throw a spanner in the works.
Yeah, mix it up. Um, so yeah, I think it's quite nice, and especially like we were saying about Imperium a minute ago with Battle Sisters and stuff like that. It'd be quite nice to think about stuff, adding bits
Yeah,
in.
I do want to do it my sister battle rolling a bit more. I haven't really spent too much time on it, which is just because, yeah, just haven't. Um, so that's one of my armies of 2023, I think. Get them to a playable size and actually have a game with them because I've been. It's actually oddly enough, it's actually been because I've started to doubt my paint style on them.
Oh,
The Argent Shroud paint.
Argent
Yeah,
Shroud. Yeah.
I'm starting to dislike what I did, which is always very
In
dangerous.
what way?
Um, I think it's to do with the white facings on the cloak to the silver. Um, as in the white cloth or white
Yeah.
robes against silver. I think there's just something that doesn't quite work for me in the color scheme. It's almost like they blend together because they're two very lightish colors, I suppose. But it doesn't. There's the vehicles that look the worst, in my opinion.
You don't like it on the vehicles?
Not at all. No.
No, that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they aren't as bad as I think they are. It's just my. You know how you get sometimes when you look at something over and over and you're like, oh, do I like that? Don't like that. And I find actually normally if you're questioning it, you probably don't like it that much.
Critical of it. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, I'm not overly familiar with them, Tom, so I can't
No. So
comment one way or another, to be honest. But yeah, definitely, you can look at something and go, oh, maybe I could have done a better job at that. But now I've already done 3 of them or 4 of them. You're like, oh,
that's the problem because obviously I've got 30 sisters already, and I
yeah.
did that stupid organ exorcist. You're like, oh.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I
And
remember you doing
I
that.
was like,
Oh,
oh god, I don't want to paint that again. I've already got to do another one because I got a second one. And I was like, ah. But then you look at it and you go, oh, but if I do it all like that and you don't like it, you'll be even more disappointed. Because obviously my actual very first Sisters of Battle army was Bloody Rose, which is red. But I didn't really want to do another red army because I've done previously.
why not? Everyone should have more red armies. Bring them in.
But I might do. I might go back to it. Maybe that's what I really wanted to do in my heart of hearts, and I didn't do it. So, but maybe because I was doing Ardent Shroud because of the Templar connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's But then, yeah, it's fine. It's one of these things. I'll look at it, and it'll take me a little while to make a decision on it. But when I make it, it'll be fine. I'll just either say no, I'm okay with it, or I will, or I'll just get the spray can out, start spraying it, and then have that moment of like, oh god, and then finally, that's okay. It's all gone now. We'll just start again. Take it easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, part of me, I haven't done any vehicles for my sisters yet because I've got to plan it out in my head how I'm going to lay it out, because obviously my sisters is very much green and bronze.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, what part is going to be bronze and what
Yes.
part
This
is
is
going to
exactly
be
it.
green?
Yeah.
Like, would it look better majority green with bits of bronze chucked in, or would it be the other way round? I mean, if it's all bronze with little divots of green, is that going to look good? I don't know. So I suppose you've got to kind of like go with it. Maybe 2023, Tom. We both work on our sisters together.
Okay. Maybe that could be our challenge for the year, to grow our sisters to a sizable force. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we can challenge someone to come play both our armies together. There we go.
Yeah. Bit of a smash down.
Also, we've got to do our little paint challenge as well, haven't we? With our assassins.
We have indeed, Tom. We've got so many things to get on with.
We should do that on a stream. One stream to paint it.
One stream, yeah. No one's setting off.
Speed
you
paint.
can undercoat it off, but you got to.
Let's see. Then we'll see how far we get with it. I think that'd be quite interesting. Tom's not looking happy about that one.
You know I don't like speed painting.
And 3 colours only.
Oh
no. No washes.
Not like that. Not like that.
But no, well, it's I mean, speed paint's a funny thing anyway. I tend to batch paint, and I think I've gotten much better at it over the years now. I'd especially like it for my templars, because I mean the good thing about the templars is because they start off at the colour that you want them anyway, as in black. It's all about getting the highlights and stuff done. And
it's quite easy, isn't it?
So
in comparison,
but it's more. But then you look at it after, don't you think, I'm going to add some more to it? And each time I've done a set of like the new Primaris Marines, I've done more and more to where I started from. And then you look at the ones you started with, and you're like, I've got to go back and touch them up. But luckily, most of the stuff that you can touch up is fairly easy to do post painting, so it's not the end of the world. But hey. There we go.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a thing. Well, you just got to evolve and try new things, and just see where you are. Like I look at, for instance, like some of my old Chaos Space Marines, some of the Rhinos, and the ones I've done since then, and you're like, oh, actually, and I have like the system has changed quite a bit since. Yeah. Do I want to go back and repaint them all? Not really, to be honest. But I think it's a nice indicator as well that you can look at them compared. Like my Mauler Fiends, I've got 3 Mauler Fiends, and I painted them. Like I painted one right at the beginning of the war host, and then I painted another one, and this year I painted a third one. And comparing all 3, I can definitely see a difference.
Oh, I can. If you put yours, you can see a progression.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that I could keep going back and repainting things. But also, I like painting new things as well. So, for instance, right now, I am painting this Forge World Sorcerer that you gave me.
Nice. Did I give you a Sorcerer?
Yeah, the Forge World one that shipped accidentally to you.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, I completely forgot about that. Jesus.
Yeah, so I'm painting him at the moment, and he's a nightmare.
It was a pretty, I suppose, I mean, I'm going to say ugly model, but I mean that in a
Nurgle way.
In a Nurgle way. But it's very, there's a lot of stuff on there.
There is a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It's why I'm looking at my Beast of Nurgle, same way. I was like, oh my God. They've got so many bits on them. You're like, I want to paint it, but it's quite intimidating. But then I've kind of broken the back on most of that stuff because I've been doing lots of demons. So I'm looking forward to getting some of that Tzeentchian Flamers done. Or I've been trying to pick the tone I want on them.
Yeah.
So, which is quite, because obviously you want that kind of flamey tone going through them, which is quite difficult to do with a hand paint, in my opinion. But although speaking of Beast for Nurgle, though, obviously I've been playing a bit of Dark Tide with Mr. I don't know if he's in chat, Felpire, but I got to fight a Beast of Nurgle as a guardsman.
How was that pleasant experience?
Terrifying. I mean, ultimately, it has the ability to literally pick you up and put it into its mouth and swallow you.
Nice.
And you just see your feet go beyond the teeth. It's just like and then they just spit you off across. I'll tell you, if you were still playing games, or you would, you for a guardsman game, I know you used to crave one. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's an incredibly
Num num
cool,
num num num.
incredibly cool setup in a massive hive, working through
Yeah.
hive parts of the city, and as a four-man squad trying to survive against poxwalkers, chaos guardsmen, and various other iterations of horrible chaos forces. But it's I was but it was just that struck me there because they also got like things like plague ogrins as well, which are just horrible. But
Nice.
but very fun. It was very fun. I was actually it was a nice change from the standard kind of shooters that they normally piss out on a regular basis on computer nowadays. It was a good, and the fact that you can tell Dan Abnett's had a hand in the story as well. Um,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, so you've got that kind of it's got a bit of writing behind it, which is nice. Very buggy at the moment, but yeah. So I just thought I'd mention that. But because I said I've been playing Ed quite a bit. But yeah, it's a good bit of fun to break up some of the other bits I do. So
Yeah, definitely. Need a bit of escapism.
oh yeah, nothing like putting an eviscerator through a Chaos Guardsman's head. Yeah,
My
that's right.
goodness. Very violent, Thomas.
That's cultist, Tom. You can't let him get out of control. You got to, Inquisition doesn't like
Now
that.
embrace it. Listen to him.
No, not Nurgle ones. No, not Nurgle ones.
They might have some valid points, Tom.
No, they look pretty ill.
Nah, that was fine. Don't worry about it. It's
They had
fine.
big problems. What's this growing out of my head? Why is my skin falling off? I don't care anymore because I'm with Nurgle. It's okay. I can look like this.
Happy Nurgle.
Oh, dear.
Talking of Nurgle, I listened to some end time stuff
Oh.
on Audible. I'm not really, I've dabbled. I used to play fantasy years ago, way before end times, and I never really been that tempted with Sigma. But I was listening to end times, and I was like, oh my goodness, the world that was! What a fantastic place it
Yeah.
was, and it's just
It's one of the reasons I still like to play Total War because it's still that old world because that's what you're playing through is the end times.
Mm.
But I completely agree. It's a real shame that it got essentially destroyed, and now we have this new. I mean, if I'm saying it's probably a bit unfair to me to make any raging comments on it because I haven't really explored the world of Age of Sigmar, and obviously it has been developed since its inception a few years ago now into quite a similar size universe. So it would probably be unfair to sort of rag on it too much in that respect because it's a different vision.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the way of looking at it. It's not, it's its own thing now. It's not the replacement. It's its own thing that's going on.
But it's
and
quite
there are a
interesting.
lot of
Obviously,
people
they've
who
released
enjoy it.
that new. What's it called? There's a release like a release based on the old world, isn't there? Coming out soon.
Yeah, they're slowly kind of leaking bits out and kind of let's see what we're working on, which I think is quite nice. It kind of the same thing they did with Sisters of Battle, that they kind of, I would say with World Eaters, but it was very few and far apart that they did anything with World Eaters. It was like, this is a chain axe. Ooh.
To be fair, the only reason that came out was because someone leaked it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It felt quite forced because it was like, oh no, someone's leaked something. All right, we better show it in a proper view now.
Yeah, because otherwise people are going to go, "Oh, what's this? This is horrible." Yeah, because I think it was the Angron model, wasn't it, that kicked it off because someone released a really grainy image of the Angron model, and I think that I know I'd be pretty annoyed if someone released a picture of something that I'd spent a lot of time making look good, and it's like this is the photo that we're going to be judging it by.
Yeah, terrible image.
But yeah, I'm sure Vicky will be getting Angron.
But there'll be a lot of Angron models floating about.
I am getting her Raptors offer though.
Oh really? Oh, obviously they're not in the
and maybe her Lord of
anymore,
Scorden.
Ah, very nice. Increase the Night Lords, so you're gonna invest a bit more in the Night Lords now.
Well, I've got I've got 2 more boxes of Raptors sitting behind me anyway, and I have a box of Terminators for them.
Okay.
So I've got a few bits for them. I just haven't had this not been on my. I've been trying to clear a lot of the paint backlog rather than making new models at the moment. as I mean, you saw I went on a massive paint drive with the dreadnought, but that kind of went into a repaint phase. But yeah, because I was trying to get a few things ready for the APOC game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was hoping to get a few more bits ready, but unfortunately they arrived late, so they're gonna have to wait until afterwards. But I've got a few characters made up because they're quite cool. High Executioner
Nice.
is
Yeah.
a brilliant model because he's just so much fun.
Good
It's a
rules as
guy
well, isn't
running around, yeah, really good rules, running
Yeah.
around with a big boy axe and just slicing stuff up. It's just insane. So yeah, I'm quite happy with him. I think he'll be quite a fun little model to have sneaking
You
about.
might have a little duel here or there. Maybe the Emperor's
Yeah,
Champion can meet him in combat.
maybe they have a little fight off. I mean, how many points is the Emperor's Champion?
I think he's 100 or 95, 100. I think. Let me just check actually. It's been a little while since I've looked at his points directly. He's not very expensive in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I think I said that the other day. The High Execution is just insanely cheap.
Mm.
It's a given that you should take him, in my opinion. Now playing him a couple of times, I'm like, why not?
He's bang on 100 points.
Okay, yeah, the High Execution is 65 points.
Yeah, I mean,
and in the elite slot as well, which kind of,
okay, that's
with the HQ slot, you're like, well, I need this and this and this, so you kind of go, I'm not going to bother with a High Executioner. But if he's in your elite slot, you might go, well, actually, why not?
Haven't they got a rule like the ones they have for Nurgle where they don't count towards the elite slot if you have?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
That's a shame. Yeah, because they did that with I think the Plague Surgeon and the other two they've got. If you take them,
yeah,
they
a lot
don't.
of armies have very similar kind
If
of.
you take one of each,
you on.
they don't count towards the elite total or something. Just so you can actually be. I think anything that's a character or an individual shouldn't really take up a slot at all. I think it's as in like a supporting character. I think they should have their own. They should have their own kind of count. Because I feel like these are people that join. They're not really an elite slot. It's like the apothecary is not. Why it's an elite one model elite slot. I mean that's an entire slot of your army taken up by an apothecary.
Yeah.
That seems a bit weird. He's technically a character who's joining your army to assist.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one, isn't it? I don't know. Night Lord. I quite like it being there. But for instance, if I'm playing Necrons, I don't necessarily want Technomancers taking up places in my HQ slot when they shouldn't really be there.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's like it almost needs its own separate kind of slot in the thing. Like maybe you can have your HQs, but you can have like supporting characters which you can take X amount depending on how many other slots you fill. Maybe if you take 3 elites, you can take a particular character that gels with it. I mean, there's some nice, interesting changes you could do there, but you don't want to over complex the game as well, which is the other flip side of it. As soon as you start putting all these little niche rules in, it becomes a bit more like it doesn't quite. I now got to remember this, and I've got to put this in, I've got to keep track of this, and yeah. Is your upper lighting working yet, by the way, Don?
I haven't tried it out, Tom.
Oh, okay. I was just curious because I just.
I'm a bit with the rain and stuff at the moment. I'm tempted not to put it on. However, like I've had people up here for games. I haven't been able to record anything. But I mean, it's good enough for games. Look, see.
No, it's fine enough. It's just yeah.
But as for recording, probably not. So, it's just frustrating to be honest.
No, I understand. But there you
go. Have you been watching anything good on TV at the moment?
Have I been watching anything good on? That is a good question. What have I can't even remember the last thing I watched. It's probably a no. If I can't remember anything that I've watched.
You watched Andor? No,
I don't have Disney subscription at the moment.
Oh, okay.
It's on my month cycle. It'll go back on soon. I'll watch through everything with Vicky at some point. Because I tend to build up a few things on there and make it worth a month's worth of viewing, basically, which is normally quite nice. No, I haven't really watched. I watched the last thing I watched was the Hunt for Red October. Oddly enough.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah.
watched the League for Extraordinary Gentlemen, the League of Extraordinary
Oh
Gentlemen.
wow. That was his
Yeah,
last film, wasn't it?
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
blame him, to
No,
be
no,
honest.
I know.
Wasn't the best.
Yeah, I just thought that was his last film. So, but yeah, that was a weird film. That one. He must have got
Was
paid a lot of money
indeed.
to do it.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah,
think I found out how much he got paid, but yeah,
yeah,
it's insane amount, as you can
yes,
probably expect. The biggest name in that film.
yeah.
Um,
And
but yeah, to be fair, it's not terrible, terrible. I mean, it's not great. It's one of those films you could just watch and like not pay too
oh
much
yeah,
attention.
yeah.
Enjoy.
It's a painting film.
It's a painting film.
Yeah,
That is correct.
it's one of the ones you can go. Oh. It's I mean, well, me and Vicky did rewatch through Lord of the Rings a few weekends back. Watched the whole thing through on extended, which it always surprises me
Nice.
how long it is.
Yeah.
I think the Return of the King, when I looked at it when we were sitting there, because you know when you've been watching something for a long time, thinking, how long have I been sat here? And you press pause, and it's like, oh, this is a 4 hour and 10 minute film. I see.
Yeah.
Now I understand why I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
And I just forget every time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Watching all the Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
stuff, but it's so rewarding though.
Yes. It's still one of the best bits of cinema, in my opinion. So.
Absolutely. They just
I
They're
think you
almost
finished
timeless.
Rings of Power.
I did finish Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Did you finish Rings of Power?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it towards the end, despite my Silmarillion brain,
Right.
which is hard to separate.
No,
Sometimes.
it was enjoyable.
No, it was good in the end. I don't know what everyone else thought of it. I mean, if anyone's still here, just what was your thoughts on Amazon's Rings of Power? It's I don't think we got to discuss it because I just realised we hadn't done a stream together for a little while because we've always had, I think, the last month or so, I think we've both had some very annoying scheduling conflicts for sitting down.
Yeah, or we're doing games.
Or
I don't
stuff's
think we.
come up. Yeah, I know. It's alright. Well, I have been quite enjoying the live stream games actually. It's quite a nice break from doing these every other week anyway because even if I've still got to make some
But
adjustments.
this kind of gives me a chance to do some hobby. That's the main thing for me.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh, I can sit here.
You actually sit there and actually do some hobby.
Beautiful hobby. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. Why was there melon on the screen? Did you use the reaction thing?
No. Yeah, I just
So
saw
you
a
did it
melon
like this?
thing and I put it on. Melons!
Black Toad!
Yeah. Very, very pretty.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't even realise that's what it did. Oh, there you go. Oh, I need to get a higher resolution one of that. Jesus, that was awful.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Oh, I got a knife and fork. What's that?
Dom and Tom explore emojis. I've got some dark titles here. Oh.
What's that, Tom?
I think that's an Ogren
What's
face.
that? You just... Yeah, of course it is.
No, hang on, look.
Looks like a scrotum to me.
That is an Ogren. Look. An Ogren reading. Look. Ogren's reading.
Emoji.
Ogren's reading. Look.
That's all Ogren. It's scrotums.
Oh Jesus! What have we done?
Scrotums everywhere.
Right. Well, anyway, I suppose we're going to wrap up there. Do you reckon?
I think so, Tom. I
Yeah.
think so. It's been a lovely evening chatting to you and those in the chat.
Those who are still here.
So, yeah, the loyal few,
brave
few.
The brave few to listen to our ramblings as usual. But as usual, thank you everyone for watching. And hope you have a good rest of the week. And we'll hopefully be. Are we going to live stream next week a game, or do you reckon we'll skip that and just do the Apocalypse the following weekend? I think we'll probably skip next week, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there won't be a live stream game next week. We're just going to because we've got stuff on.
Sit and chat, I think.
Yeah, and yeah. So we will. we will see you then. So everyone, my name is Tom, and this
I'm Dom.
is Dom. I looked the wrong way there. That was quite embarrassing. And
Yeah.
and we will
Yeah.
see you all very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Yes, take care.